On today's Glory Days show, there are only two teams left in the chase for the Stanley Cup, with the Pittsburgh Penguins gunning to become the first repeat champions since the 97-98 Detroit Red Wings. But standing in their way are the Nashville Predators, who are there for the first time. Pete Torgerson and Mark Hogan will join us to break down the matchups.
And just about everybody has ridden a bicycle in their lifetime, and some of you may have even gone for long distance. But I bet none of you have ever tried to make it from Long Island all the way to Toronto.
Wow.
We'll talk to someone who has done it not once, not twice, but 3 times. Hey, I wonder if you have to pay the tolls on the thruway.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, maybe he's got an easy pass for the cycle. Long Islander Rich Kunstler will join us and tell us all about his adventure.
Tiger Woods gets arrested for DUI, and Mr. Met is giving the fans the finger. What else can go wrong for the Amazons this season? Well, if you saw last night, plenty, man.
Plenty. The best hour of your sports week is coming up on Glory Days right now.
Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, June 3rd, 2017, and you are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani, and this is my good friend, Bruce Oler. Anthony Mazzallo and Bonnie Schultz are behind the glass, and you are joining us on the Inravio TV network, where we stream live from Studio C, right here in the great state of New York. Good morning.
How are you, man?
Doing all right. Haven't seen you in a while.
I know.
You know, we take 2 weeks off, and it's like we take 2 months off. You know, a lot happens in the world of sports. A lot happens in the world in general.
Just in the world in general. That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, everybody's losing their mind over climate change and how.
I don't know enough about that. You know, there seems to be. It does seem to me though that it's not a hoax. You know, I mean, if you look at some of the the superstorm, Sandy, you know, and other things, you know, it seems like it takes a while for it to get warm now and things like that. So I think there's something going on with the environment, and
I think we could certainly do things to help it, you know, to help things along. But you know what? It's a planet. It's evolving. It's always evolving. Mm-hmm. I mean, are we destroying it? Probably.
Oh, I'm sure we are. I'm sure we are.
But you know what? If the United States decides to stop doing things and nobody else does,
yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, that whole Paris Accord thing is nothing more than a way for everybody to make money off us. Off you and me.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
Because our taxes are going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. You know what? If everybody just did what they're supposed to do.
What do they say? Think globally, act locally is what they say.
Exactly. You know? I mean, and it doesn't mean that the United States is going to cease.
Yeah.
We just don't want to be part of giving our money to everybody else. Mm-hmm. That's all it is, folks. Read the papers well, I guess don't read the papers. Right?
I don't know what you don't even know what you can.
Do your own research.
You don't even know what you can believe anymore. I was reading something the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they were talking about. Remember the water incident, the water quality incident in Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, yeah.
So they say that basically they determined that they found a bunch of dead bodies in this reservoir, okay? And they say they were way down. They say there was like 20 people that they think, have been there in the last 18 months, okay? But they say some of these bodies go back 40 years, and one of them could be Jimmy Hoffa.
Wow.
This could be solved. Who knows? You know?
Jimmy Hoffa is polluting the water of Flint, Michigan.
You know, I know they said that he was buried in end zone of Giant Stadium, right?
Right, they always thought that. And you know what? When they tore down the stadium, they did dig to find out.
but they didn't find it though, because he was in the bottom of the whatever that body of water is that Flint, Michigan is using
By
for
the way,
their
I want
water
to
source.
thank our producer Bonnie Schultz for talking you out of holding up the severed head of Hillary Clinton because we didn't want you to get in trouble.
No.
Anyway, you think we got problems?
Yeah.
How about Tiger Woods?
Yeah. Well.
So,
Maya the mighty have fallen, right?
many of us thought that Tiger Woods had hit rock bottom a few years ago when he drove his car into a pole in front of his estate, and his wife chased him out of the house throwing a golf club after she found out that he had multiple affairs.
Yeah.
Remember, didn't he have an affair with the wife, with the waitress at a Denny's or something? A Waffle House, right? I think it was a Waffle House.
A Waffle House, okay.
Anyway, his career has been on a downward spiral ever since that Thanksgiving incident back in 2009.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won a major golf tournament since. Now, with all his physical problems and back surgeries, it's feared that Woods will never play professional golf again. Right?
I saw that picture of him, man. He didn't look so hot, man, And then they were showing some video where he's not really quite standing straight, man,
Well, it was 3 a.m. Monday morning, and the cops in Jupiter, Florida, approached this 2015 Mercedes-Benz that was stopped in the right-hand lane on Military Trail, which is,
Trail.
as you know, is south of Indian Creek Park.
Of course, I know that.
The police noticed that the driver's side tires were flat, and there was minor damage to both the front and the rear bumper. Okay, but the vehicle was running. The brake lights were on, and the right blinker was flashing. At least he had the blinker on. The driver was wearing a seatbelt, but as the officer approached the vehicle, they noticed that he was fast asleep. And then they noticed it was Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Right? Although, looking at that picture, I don't know if I could tell that was Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
He's losing his hair.
I tell you, what I read about that, the first thing I think about is Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
You mean the park?
How am I driving?
So after they woke him up, his speech was slurred. And he was cooperative, but he was a little confused. He originally told them that he was driving home from California, but he didn't know where he was.
Wow.
That's the understatement of the year, right?
Well, you know where he was?
Where?
He was in Jupiter.
He was in Jupiter.
He wasn't even on the Earth, man.
He was forced to take several standard road sobriety tests, and he failed each one of them miserably. He was unable to stand on one leg or put his finger to his nose. And then when they asked him to recite the alphabet backwards...
Well, I mean, how could you do that? I mean, could you do that?
I can do it.
Could you do that?
He said, yes, recite the national anthem backwards. But he couldn't do either one.
All right.
I tried to do it.
You did?
Yeah.
How far did you get?
Z. Because I have to go X, Y, Z. Then you go Z, Y. But if I just have to do it straight...
But, I mean, sometimes they tell you, what I've heard...
They don't give you time to go through your mind.
I don't know this for sure, They'll say, well, start at F and go through it, but you can't sing it. You know what I mean? A, B, C, D.
No, really?
You
you have to at least sing it.
Yeah, well...
Although I can't sing it backward. I'm not the White Album.
No. Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on. Yeah.
He wasn't drunk.
Of course not.
He blew a 0.0 on the scene, but later claimed in a written statement that prescription medication contributed to his arrest. Woods was then charged with DUI.
Driving under the influence of...
They never said.
I see.
I don't think they have to officially say what you were influenced by. But I don't know. I still, and I've said this before on this show, I still believe that his physical issues relate to steroids. I know that they were not, of course, why would they be testing golfers for steroids?
Yeah.
But I just think that all his physical breakdown. I mean, when he was winning all those Masters, in 2008, by the way, when he won his last Masters, he had a broken leg.
Wow.
He had a broken leg. He
Yeah.
won it in on a playoff hole, and then it was revealed that he had a
I mean,
broken
I
leg.
think back, like you say, he was winning 3 or 4 majors
Yeah.
a year. Well, it wasn't winning 4. I guess maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
He's got 14.
yeah.
And remember, the
they
record
were
was
projecting
18.
him. How many years is it going to take him to beat? Well, I guess what's the
Jack
Golden Bear?
Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus. I
Right.
mean, he's the guy, the all-time record holder.
Every time there's a Tiger Woods story like
Yeah.
this, Jack Nicklaus breaks out a bottle of champagne. It's like the guys from the
Right,
'72
right,
Miami
the
Dolphins. Every time
undefeated Miami Dolphins, yep.
the last NFL undefeated team gets a loss, they break out the champagne.
Yeah,
Larry
yeah.
Zonka, although
Yeah.
I think Larry Zonka died.
Yeah.
Didn't Larry Zonka die?
Yeah. Well, Marino wasn't on that undefeated
No,
team,
that
though.
was, Bob
Yeah,
Greasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And,
Get your facts straight, man.
Come on, who's in that booth? Anyway, the other story we want to talk about real fast
Is
was,
Mr. Met?
Mr. Met.
Mr. Met, yeah. So he gives. Now, I'm not sure what makes the middle finger so offensive, but evidently it does.
I don't know why it's any different than going like this.
Yeah,
I could do that, right?
yeah.
I'm just asking. I could do this too. That's pinky swear.
I was doing a little research on that. I mean, I had this book. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. Italian Without Words, because there's
Right?
this. There's
This is my favorite. My favorite.
There's this. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what some of these things are or whatever. You have to be careful.
There's this.
But the Mets have had, I guess, a history. I mean, I think about Vince Coleman throwing the fireworks.
Yeah, Vince Coleman. And then, what's his name? Brett Saberhagen was shooting bleach out of a water gun
Yeah.
at reporters.
Yeah. And it all goes back to Cleon Jones getting caught naked in a van. It was rocking, I guess.
With an underage girl. No, it wasn't an underage girl.
No.
It was a prostitute.
Yeah. And what else was going on with him? Oh, I think they found pot in the car, too.
But it wasn't his.
Of course not. And
never
he didn't inhale either, man, I'm
He
sure.
didn't inhale. But poor Mr. Met.
Yeah.
Think about, the guy who used to be Mr. Met,
Yeah.
he wrote a book called something like It's Hot and Stinky in Here.
Yeah, well, I
That's
can
the name of the
imagine
book.
that. Yeah.
I can't imagine. Now they have different Mr. Mets, apparently. They rotate all the different Mr. Mets.
I know that you can hire him to come to your party or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. And I always wanted to do that. I was hoping for my 60th birthday party that would have happened, but it didn't. So
Maybe
I have to wait till I'm 70 or 65.
Maybe we'll have Mr. Met at your funeral. He'll be the one smiling.
And giving me the finger.
Then there was all the controversy about the finger, the fact that he's a cartoon character, and he only has 4 fingers. Although I wonder why they only make him with 4 fingers.
That is a good question.
I mean, I know that cartoon characters are drawn with 4 fingers because it's hard to draw 5 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's got a glove. So which 2 fingers does he have to stick? Is it like this? Is it like that? Is it like this? These are the things that
May the shorts be with you. I don't know.
I watched that this morning, by the way. It was on. But these are the type of things that we want to work for you. Why is it? We found out why?
Yeah. I had read
can't
that
say
this
that.
morning too. He's saying,
We
and
think
you
that
got
it kind
Ooh,
of
I
resembles.
shouldn't be doing that. I guess I did.
Did you just do that?
I did.
But doesn't everything resemble a phallic symbol?
Yeah.
But anyway, out of all if you think about it, cartoon character, even though we have 5 fingers, we really, have 4. So there is no middle finger. But if you only have 3 and a thumb, then you have a middle finger. So theoretically, this is the finger that he was giving. And there is nothing offensive about the ring finger.
And I don't know if it was coincidence, but the other day they had the Jerry Seinfeld show where Danny Tartable is in the car with George, and he perceives that he's been given a finger, and it's a guy who's got his whole hand wrapped up or whatever, But what Jerry said is, if I was really mad at somebody, I'm not sure I'd give him the finger. I think I'd give him the toe. Is what I would do. Anyway, I think it's time for a break here, my friend. Okay.
I think we should go to a break.
All right. We're going to take a short break here on the Glory Day Show. When we get back, we'll bring back a man who has rode his bicycle from Melville, Long Island, all the way to Toronto, Canada. Mark Hogan and Pete Torgerson are waiting in the wings to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals between Pittsburgh and Nashville. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
And no fingers.
Hey, this is Chris Dick, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. Mr. B, what's the furthest distance that you've ever ridden on your bicycle?
Probably
as a
from
kid.
my house to maybe the mall, which was probably about 8-9 miles, I guess, one way or something like that.
Your house to the mall is about 1.5 miles.
No. But out where I live now, from Mount Sinai to the Smith Haven Mall.
Oh, okay. In Massapequa, it's about 1.5 miles.
Yeah. Okay. Should have clarified that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, did you ever think about taking your bicycle all the way out to Montauk?
Yes, I've thought about it, and
Okay.
then I've not thought about it.
How about making 3 consecutive round trips to Montauk?
Yeah, I can't say I would think about doing that. I kind of remember some kids growing up, though, you know, like I wouldn't say the hoodlums, because they were all my friends were jocks back in high school, but there were guys that I think they went out to Montauk, and of course, you know, they were boozing it up on the way and stuff like that.
Well, that's about the distance our next guest covered last week as he cycled all the way from Melville across the Rainbow Bridge in Canada to Toronto. And he did it in just 7 days.
7 days.
I don't think I could do it in 7 years.
Yeah.
And he did it all by himself. And it was the 3rd time that he accomplished it.
Wow,
Right?
the hat trick.
Well, my wife and I traveled to Toronto a few years ago, driving all the way home about 8-9 hours.
Okay.
You know? But he covered 624 miles in 7 days and never once stopped to pee. No. Well, let me put this into perspective for you.
What's he, a camel? I mean,
Traveling from New York to Washington, D.C. is only 229 miles.
Okay.
New York to Virginia Beach is about 400 miles.
Okay.
And you can go all the way to North Carolina in about 500 miles. He went 624.
Yeah. I was doing the math on that. That's about 90 miles a day if you're going
Well,
9 days.
you know what? Please
Let's
welcome
bring
to the
him in,
program,
man. All right.
Rich Kunzel. Rich, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
How you feeling? How are your legs?
Legs are fine.
By the way, I have to say, you're a guy who could bike 624 miles, yet in your house, you have a stationary bicycle behind you.
I do, but in my defense, that's my wife's bike. I don't
Oh, okay, all right. It's always good to throw the wife under the bus. That's a good idea. Okay.
So, man, congratulations. That's something else, man.
Thank you.
And it's the third time you've done it. So obviously you're a bicycleist. Is that what you call yourself?
I used to just say I was a guy who just liked to ride a bike, but I think I have to concede now that I'm a cyclist. Yeah.
Did you say a psychopath?
Yes. I've often been called that as well, Paul.
So let's talk about this trip now. This is the third time that you've done it.
Well,
And
no, this is actually only the second. It was the second time I had ridden. Well, third time I've ridden to Canada, but I had ridden once to Niagara Falls, once to Montreal, and this was a trip to Toronto. So,
Okay. You're working
yeah,
your way
this
west,
was.
it seems like, huh?
What's that?
You're working your way west, I guess, each
Yes,
time.
yes, I am.
So what goes into this now? When my wife and I went to Toronto, we packed so much stuff in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we were going for 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. You obviously can't take a lot of stuff with you, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty limited in what I can carry. Yeah.
We're gonna be throwing some pictures up here along the way. How do you? Is it a mental thing? Is it a physical thing? Is it both mental and physical? Because you did this all by yourself.
Well, I did. I met my wife along the way at various points, and we tried to turn it into a family vacation. So I was able to resupply at certain points. I made it to Syracuse without any assistance at all. That's where I had first met them. So that was about 4 days of riding. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is, it's just a lot of logistical planning and packing and trying to get everything that you need together.
Can you talk about logistics for a second?
Sure.
Got a picture up there that obviously you had a website and you had a place where we could track your progress throughout the whole thing. How did you get across the bridges in New York? Are there bike lanes?
Well, yes, the RFK Bridge is what I crossed to get from Queens into the Bronx, and there is a bike lane. It's not the easiest way. There's several flights of stairs you've got to go across to get up to other levels, and then flights of stairs to come down. But it is doable.
Does the bike lane have traffic on it?
No. It was pouring rain the day that I left New York, and there was 0 other bikes out.
I see. I was going to ask you about the weather. I'm not sure how many times you get 7 days of good weather. So if you have bad weather, are you are you going in the rain, or are you just begging that day?
Yeah, I've got to plan these things pretty far in advance because of work and other commitments. So whatever the weather is going to be, it's going to be, and I've got to just deal with it.
Wow.
So how do you deal with things like the weather? I mean, you're obviously you're getting wet. I mean, what give us a little idea. Like, what do you wear? What's your equipment?
Yeah. So I have rain pants that are waterproof, and I have a rain jacket and a cover that goes over my helmet to keep my head dry. And I even have this year I bought these waterproof socks, although they turned out not to be very waterproof in the end.
You see, I remember whenever I would take my bicycle as a kid, and I would take it more than a mile or so, my chain would break, or something would happen. My tire would start to wiggle and stuff. What kind of maintenance things do you bring with you on a trip of 600 miles?
Yeah, there's I brought a full toolkit that I would keep in my wife's car. So if anything catastrophic would happen, I could repair it on the way. On the bike, I had spare tubes. I had a small toolkit, pump, patch kits. I even had this thing. It was in case a spoke broke, I had it's like a Kevlar cable that could be used to replace a spoke.
Wow.
Just anything I could think of that would help in a bad circumstance.
Well, did you run into any problems while you were doing this particular run?
Luckily, no, not even a flat tire. It was really pretty uneventful as far as mechanical stuff went.
So now you said that you had planned the whole thing out, so you knew basically where you figured you would be at the end of every evening or whenever. Was that what drove you to get to that destination? Sometimes through the rain and stuff?
Yeah, that's part of why I planned these trips, or why I started doing these trips was, if you set out and you say I want to run 10 miles, and you get on a treadmill and you're in your living room and you turn on the treadmill and you start running. If you want to stop at any point, you just have to turn it off and sit down and you're. But if you've got yourself in a circumstance where really you don't have a lot of options other than to finish, you find that you can dig a little deeper and get to where you need to go. So if I'm out, 70 miles from home or 70 miles from where I need to be, you kind of just have to do it. And it provides a little bit more motivation, I guess.
Did you, we were trying to figure out where were you? I mean, you weren't on the thruway, right?
Nope.
I mean, are there bikes? I know you and I had talked previously about the governor talking about creating a bike path from New York to Buffalo, but that doesn't exist right now, right? So what kind of trails
Parts of it do exist. There is a bike path that runs along the Erie Canal, and that made up at least, I'd say, about 200 miles of the ride that I did. So it's not, complete bike path, and there's parts of it that are pretty rough and rugged. But it's a good portion of that area is a bike path. The rest of it is just side roads and neighborhoods and other, not main roads, but fairly main roads, stuff that for a Long Islander, it would be like Old Country Road or Jericho Turnpike at points.
You were posting a lot of pictures of the scenery and the stuff, and obviously you had a fantastic adventure going there. You saw so much of the things that you don't even get to see when you're in a car.
Yeah. Yeah, in a car, you get on a highway, and I drove home with my wife and kids. I didn't ride back,
yeah. Okay.
So wait a minute. Wait, we're not letting you get away with that yet. Hold on. I want to ask you a quick question. So here you are, 7 days of solitude and enjoying the great outdoors. And then you're driving home for 7 hours with the wife and kids in the car.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a different experience.
It is, but I'll be honest, I slept most of the way.
Oh boy!
So what kind of training do you need to do something like this? I mean, you don't just start deciding you're going to go to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to ride bikes. So for me, a day like today, any day that I'm not working and it's not raining, I'm going out for a bike ride anyway. I also do some other more organized training. I'll do morning training rides with some guys that I know. And then I think the other part of it is really just doing shorter trips. When I first set out to do stuff like this, I had targets on Long Island, so I would ride to Orient Point or to Montauk or to Manhattan or something like that. And I would plan these trips and try to get through them, and then the trips got longer and longer, and then it was to Boston, and then it was to Vermont and Maine, and just keep reaching a little bit further and further until a 100-mile day doesn't seem like a big deal.
Nice.
Is this the longest trip you've ever taken? 624 miles?
Yeah, this is the longest one I've done. Yeah.
All right, so I'm running out of time here. So let me ask you, what's next? Where are we going next? California?
That's a good. Well, I do have a bike trip planned to Bar Harbor in Maine for the 4th of July weekend, and then I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Where would you like to go if you had no obligations? Would you be like Forrest Gump, only with a bicycle?
Absolutely. I've thought about even taking a leave of absence from work and riding across the country, but it just doesn't work when you've got a job and two kids. And
Yeah, wow.
Do your kids like to ride bicycles?
they do. My daughter especially. She's a very avid cyclist.
So maybe someday you'll take that cross-country trip with them.
That would be great. I hope so.
You know, and your wife will follow you in the car because she's not. She uses the stationary bike.
Yeah, she doesn't like to go too far, too fast on a bike.
All righty, Rich. I want to
That's
let
too
you
much,
know
man.
that just talking to you is making me out of breath.
That is something, man.
That's some story, man. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right.
All right, Rich, we'll talk. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
That is a man who rode 600.
That is unbelievable, man.
You know, I used to have a little odometer on my bicycle when I was a kid. I don't ever remember it getting into the 3 digits ever, no matter how long I ever had my bike.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, my mother would never allow us to drive. I couldn't even go across Sunrise Highway with my bike. Anyway, all right, you know what?
Let's take a break.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take another break. All right? And you know what? We'll switch gears.
We'll go to hockey,
We're going
man.
to go to hockey. We'll talk with Mark Hogan about the defending Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins, who are just 2 wins away from a second consecutive Stanley Cup. Stay with us. You're watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back. Thanks, Rich. That was great.
What's up, guys? We're Scared No Fair, and we're here with Inravio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit him up online.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. The defending Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins are just 2 wins away from winning their second consecutive Stanley Cup, becoming the first team to repeat as NHL champions since the Detroit Red Wings did that in 97 and 98. And they are about to do it with a rookie goaltender who also won the Stanley Cup for them last year, Matt Murray. Murray did not play in any of the Penguins' previous postseason games due to an injury until the conference finals when he saw his first action in Game 4 during a blowout. He has started ever since and won the deciding double overtime Game 7 before winning the first 2 games of this series. On our phone is the last man standing in, our NHL correspondent, so he gets to keep coming back. Welcome back to the show, Mark Hogan. Mark, you must have a big smile on your face today, huh?
Yeah, guys, how are you?
Good, good.
not only are your Penguins up 2-0, but your Pirates put a hurting on the Mets last night.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there with you guys, but
That's all right. You know what? This has become a lost season. You know, if we've got our mascot giving the finger to fans, it's all downhill from here.
yeah, it's been pretty rough for you guys.
It has been.
But it hasn't been too rough for Pittsburgh, although, you know, they did have to battle in all of their series that they've played so far. And you know what? I believe deep in my heart that they've been outplayed by the Predators in both of these games. But you know what? That don't matter.
Yep. The only thing that matters is it's a score. But I mean, you think about that first game. The Penguins started out great. They were up 3-0. Next thing you know, it was 3-3, and they scored 5 goals on 12 shots in that game. Man, how can you do that?
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
You know, they went 37 minutes without a
shot on goal.
Without a shot on goal. You know. Hey, Mark,
Well, guys, I would say, you know, Nashville's not going to just go away lightly. I think that they got a great hockey team. And that first game was sort of indicative. I mean, the Pens came out, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, we're going to stomp these guys. But they came back with great resilience. They tied that game, and that was a really good hockey game. So we'll see what happens. You know, tonight we're going to Nashville. I think they have great fans down there. Let's not forget that, I mean, they haven't really had a world, champion type of game since I think the Tennessee Titans played 18 years ago in the Super Bowl. So, hey, they're going to be pumped down there, and we got to come playing tonight.
You know, Nashville has only lost one home game in the playoffs, and they're a tough team to beat anyway, although, you know, they had the exact same record as the Islanders.
Yeah, I know that.
Nashville.
I know that.
And they're a number 16 seed. They were the worst, quote-unquote, playoff team. And here they are. You know, they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. And you know what? They obviously, you're down 2-1. They have to win this game.
Well, 2-0.
2-0. They have to win this game. But you know what? The reason why you play for home ice advantage is that you're expected to win your home games. And as long as you win your home games, it doesn't matter what you do on the road.
That's right.
You know, if you're the favorite. Obviously, Nashville winning their home games isn't going to help. They got to get one on the road. So I wanted to talk to you about Gunsel. Jake Gunsel. Is that how you pronounce it? Gunsel? Gunsel? The rookie.
I don't know.
Rich Kunstler. Gunsel. I wanted to talk about this rookie kid.
He's playing great. I mean, you look at the first 2 games, and you know some of the guys they're scoring, and you know Gensel's been absolutely great, and Bonino's playing his part. So the Pens are really getting it from some guys that you might not always think of. You know, I think Malkin only has 1 goal, I believe, in the first 2 games. I don't believe Crosby has any. So
yeah, I don't think so either.
It's nice when you have the other guys picking it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you need.
You know, I mean, he's got 5 game-winning goals
Gunsel?
in the postseason
Gunsel?
already.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this kid's a rookie. First of all, he's 2 goals behind the NHL record for for goals in a postseason. Dino Ciccarelli.
Dino Ciccarelli.
Dino Ciccarelli had 14 goals, then he's already got the most points ever by a U.S.-born rookie. He's got 19 points in the playoffs. That's unbelievable, you know. So now we have to see what happens. The team that has won the first 2 games of the Stanley Cup Final has won 45 out of 50 times.
Yeah, I guess I know it's about 90%. So things are looking good for the Penguins, obviously.
So that means that they're in for a disaster tonight, right, Mark?
Well, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. As you said, Mark. I mean, Nashville's got a good team. They just haven't been able to win on the road. Pecorini, though, he got pulled this last game, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It was time for him the game was over.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit of a rest here. I'm quite sure he's going to be starting in Game 3.
Oh, I'm sure of that, too.
Mark, is there any way that Pittsburgh does not win this series?
Well, I sure hope we win. I'm not underestimating Nashville. I'll tell you that much. And I think I told you guys before. I don't know that the Pens are going to sweep any team on their road to the Stanley Cup, championship if they do win it. So, if we can win one of two in Nashville and get it done in 5 or 6 games, I'll take it. I think the guys that you least expect are sort of stepping up. And look, if you average 4.5 goals a game, you're probably going to win most of the time. So we're scoring, and I think that I love that stat that you guys just threw out there. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, actually, the team that takes a 2-0 lead at home is even better. They're 34 out of 37, almost 92%.
So, well, 90%, whether it's 90 or 92%, it's pretty high. I got to tell you, though, when we were talking about this, I predicted that Pittsburgh was going to win that series in 5, the last series, man. And that wound up being that was one of the best games I think I saw all year, was that seventh game, that double overtime game. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pittsburgh had 2 overtime games in that series against Ottawa. And they had a lead in that series. They had 3 games to 2. And then Ottawa wins 2-1, forces the game 7. And they both had a weird statistic. Neither one of them. Pittsburgh had never won a game 7 at home. And Ottawa had never won a game 7, period, going into that game. So you knew something was going to happen. But you know what, Mark? They're looking good, but I tell you right now, I know it sounds silly, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to say that if Nashville wins this game
tonight,
they don't lose again.
Really?
I think Nashville wins 2 games. They win game 5 in Pittsburgh, and then they win the Cup at home. I'm going to go on record saying that.
Well, Disco, that's quite a limb you're out on, man. I'm going to say I think the Penguins are going to win in 5.
Ooh, so you think? Well, do you think Nashville gets this game tonight?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think that's the only game they're going to win.
Okay. Because I tell you right now, if Nashville goes down 3 games to none, I don't see them coming back and winning.
We shall see.
We shall see. Mark, what do you think? Any chance?
I don't know, Paul. That's a pretty bold prediction by you, man. Look, I think we're going to win it. I hope we do. Again, I don't think we're going to sweep this team. I like Bruce's 5 games.
There we go.
I think it'll be 5 or 6. I think it'll be 5 or 6.
You're just saying 5 or 6 because you don't want to say sweep.
I don't think we're going to sweep them. I really don't, guys. I think that they're a good team, and they've played hard. I agree with you, Paul. They've played hard these 2 games. We've played a little harder, and we've had some goals go in, but they're not giving up. And I think it's going to be a tough venue down there.
Well, you know what I want to do? I think I'd like to take a look at what a team's record is in the game that they have a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
I'd like to know, because you get there and all you know that you have to, and game 7s don't count. Okay, I'd like to know what the record is of the team. Like, let's just say, for example, that Pittsburgh wins tonight. Mm-hmm. Okay, game 4 is their chance to win the Cup. Game 5 is their chance to win the Cup.
All the rest of the games would be, yeah.
But I would just like to know what a team's record is when they have a chance to win the Stanley. You know who might know that? Maybe Pete Torgerson.
Or maybe the man in the booth.
All right, Mark.
Okay.
All right, Mark, good luck, and maybe we'll talk to you next week. Because if you lose, we're not talking to you anymore.
All right, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, same
here.
here.
Thanks, Mark.
All right,
that's our good pal, Mark Hogan. From Ohio, originally from Pittsburgh. Let's take another break here on Glory Day Show, and when we get back, we'll bring in our hockey maven, Pete Torgerson. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Rich Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you get punched in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the Inravio TV network. It's been a wonderful postseason for the NHL in terms of gameplay, but for some reason they still continue to get the little things wrong. There was no postseason hockey over the Memorial Day weekend, while the league had a good shot at getting a lot of eyeballs on their product. And now that we're in the finals, the NHL is spreading out the 7-game series over 17 days, pushing the awarding of the Stanley Cup possibly all the way out to Wednesday, June 14th. But the games are the important thing, and as our next guest knows, there is nothing like playoff hockey. Please welcome back to the program a man who could care less about baseball right now, Pete Torgerson. Pete, how are you?
Great, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Good. Do you even know how the Red Sox are doing right now?
Who cares?
You know
they're not terrible.
I wish I could say the same about the Mets, but
well, I was driving in my car this morning, and this guy thought I cut him off. I think he gave me the finger, but he only had 4 fingers. So
maybe he was giving you the pointer finger. You never know. Did he have a giant white glove on and only 4 fingers?
Yes, yes. Did he cut you off too?
All righty, so let's talk about Pittsburgh and Nashville. So far, I think that Nashville has dominated both of the games, but obviously Pittsburgh won the 2 games.
Yeah, the bad news is Bruce Ohler's favorite goalie, the Big Pekka, has...
I know.
Yeah, but the Penguins are his kryptonite. They've been it all year. If you look at the records throughout the season, he kills them. He gets killed by them, so it's just... I wouldn't be surprised if he's not starting tonight.
Really? You think they'll be that drastic tonight? This is a game, obviously, they have to win.
Hey, drastic times. You got to make a move here.
I don't know. I don't see that happening. I hate to disagree with you, but you're wrong.
Your opinion is wrong.
Yeah, your opinion is wrong.
The other key to tonight is Benito's, walking cast. So he's a huge part of the team. Just in the defensive zone, he's unbelievable. He scores big goals. He makes big plays. So that could.
Now, Subban is shooting over his mouth saying, we're going to win this game 3. And he's probably right about that, but he likes to shoot his mouth off, doesn't he, Pete?
Guess what? I've got no use for that guy. I like the Predators, but he should have stayed with the Canadians. He's a me guy. It's all about me. He did one good thing. He sent the money to that children's hospital in Montreal, and they thought so much of him doing that they traded him the next day. But he's not as good as he thinks he is. He makes a lot of mistakes, a lot of stupid plays, and I think half the league wants to kill him. So,
well, they have to say something. They have to, they're a good team at home. Again, they ran into some tough luck. He didn't see a couple of those goals. They had about 3 or 4 goals that bounced in off people. I just don't know what to make of it. I know that anything could happen in the Stanley Cup final, but I really think they're going to win this game tonight. I think that obviously they have to win the game, but
yeah, well, that's the puck luck that you're talking about.
Yep.
And good teams get it. And guess what? When these playoffs start, who did I say is going to be there at the end? The Penguins, and here they are. Because see what Crosby did the other night? That play where the guy pushed the puck ahead and he just stepped up and dropped him.
Yeah.
He sets tones throughout the game, and it goes unnoticed. You're going back to last year, Game 7, the opening faceoff. He slashed Thornton right behind the legs, and nobody did anything. You know, it's not that they're afraid of him, but he is a difference maker, and everybody hates him. I used to hate him, but I'm a huge fan now. He dominates the whole game more than any player in the league right now.
You are right, Pete. I mean, you know, people do hate him, and you know, they still got friends of mine that every time the Penguins lose, they have a picture of him crying or something like that. You know, but the guy, he's not a crybaby. He sucks it up, man, and he wins. You know,
right?
I can't see why people don't like this guy. He's just a great player, man. He really is.
How does the kid from Nebraska, Omaha, end up with 14 goals in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, Disco, you would score top 2 or 3 if they put him on Crosby on your line, for crying out loud.
You know, we were talking about how you know, he's got where is it? He's got 19 points in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and it's the most for a rookie kid in the playoffs. He's got 5 game-winning goals. 5 game-winning goals. It's unheard of. Most teams don't even win 5 games in the playoffs.
And let me ask you something. Go dig a little deeper. Drill down a little here. Of those 5 goals, who was on the ice with him?
Crosby?
What do you think?
Stills, Nash, and Young. I don't know.
Right?
Actually, they were saying the headline saying Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Yeah.
As in Nashville. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we were talking about before about the statistic that teams that lead the series 2 games to none have won 90%, 45 out of 50 times. Is there any way Pittsburgh doesn't win this series?
Well, another injury. You know, they're playing without Letang. He's been out, you know, forever.
Right.
So they're working around him. You know, key injury. Sid Cindy falls on his head. You know, things change. Benito not playing tonight. It's not over by any means. What happens with Pekka tonight? Do you start him? Do you not start him? So this series is far from over. Tonight's a huge game. If it goes 3-0, it's a whole different series. You know, well, it's over. But I kind of like Nashville tonight. You know, because they're going to have the crowd. They're going to have the mojo. You know,
are they going to be throwing stupid catfish on the ice tonight?
Of course.
Just one. That guy got off on that on Pittsburgh.
How are you going to prevent like 10,000 people from throwing little pieces of catfish on the ice? I think it's going to be a disaster tonight. I think a lot of people are going to throw catfish on the ice tonight.
But the funny part is in Nashville, they don't notice the smell when they walk in.
That's the river. You know?
Maybe do they have like catfish sniffing dogs instead of bomb sniffing dogs when they come in?
Well, how about the guy he dry sealed it in Nashville, drove all the way to Pittsburgh with it, and put it down his pants and snuck into the rink. So.
You know what? That's dedication.
Oh,
yeah. How can you arrest that guy?
Now, Pete, I know we're focusing on the finals here, man, but I'll tell you, was Game 7, Pittsburgh and Ottawa, was that a classic for the ages or what, man? What a game that was, huh?
No question. That was one of the best games of all time. It's like
I was up late watching that thing. I mean, I had a poster saying, that's why I love hockey, man. It's the greatest sport on earth. When you see a game like that, man, it's just tough. And a lot of my friends, they agreed with me, but they were all very sad that Pittsburgh won. They were rooting for Ottawa, you know.
That's the crazy thing. Nobody likes this team. You know, it's funny.
You think it's because they're the defending champions, or just because they just don't like Pittsburgh?
I think it's the whole Sydney thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then Kessel's on the bench crying after every shift and banging his stick. He's like a 9-year-old. But you know, they all get along. It's a great mix.
So what about the move to go back to Murray? Was Fleury running out of gas, do you think? Or
well, you know what?
Go ahead.
They had the the benefit of going to a guy like that. Murray won the Stanley Cup last year. Fleury won it, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it was. So you have two top-notch goalies. It's not like it's 1 and 1D. It's 1A and 2A. You know, either one of those
Murray,
guys.
if they win this cup, he's going to become the first goalie to win 2 Stanley Cups as a rookie, because he didn't play enough last year to be considered a rookie.
That's amazing.
Right.
That is amazing.
I think he played more postseason games than he played regular season games.
I think we know that Fleury is not going to be protected. I think he might wind up in Vegas, right?
Yeah, but you know what? There's a guy that, you know, he says all the right things. I'm sure he's pissed. He's the most popular guy on the team, and he's a great team player. Never complains. Could you imagine, you know, if this was New York? You know, the headlines would be Fleury's pissed, this, that. They'd be, you know, TMZ would be following him. But he just sits there. He takes it all in. It's all about the team. And guess what? When the Stanley Cup, when Crosby gets it, guess who? He's probably giving it to him second.
You think so?
He should.
Wow.
Yeah, no question. He's a great team player.
You know, so let's. I just want to bring up. You mentioned we were just talking about the expansion team. I looked something up, and I wanted to just see. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but okay. So if Nashville was to come back and win the cup here, they would be the second team since the expansion era of '67 to win the Stanley Cup on their first try. Okay, the other 6 teams are Colorado, who won in '96, the Devils, who won in '95, Pittsburgh won in '91, the Islanders in 1980, and the Philadelphia Flyers, who won in '74. So
in a food series against the Bruins that they shouldn't have won. Bernie Grant, please.
I didn't want to bring it up.
Rub that in there.
Why'd you ruin my morning, Disco?
Okay, so 20 of the 24 teams, okay, that have entered the NHL since 1967 have been to the Stanley Cup Finals at least once. Do you know who the 4 teams are that are currently playing that have never been to the Stanley Cup Final?
St. Louis?
No, St. Louis was there.
They were there? Oh, that's right.
St. Louis was there in their first year.
Okay.
I mean, in their second year. They lost to Montreal.
Kings, North Stars have been there. Tampa won it.
I think
Columbus
it's got a
hasn't
technicality on you with the North Stars, because the North Stars moved to Dallas, right?
Right. The North Stars went from Minnesota to Dallas in '93.
Well, the Wild hasn't been in
There you go. There you go, Pete. I was throwing you
Wild.
that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. The Wild.
The other 2, one team.
Kansas City Scouts.
Yeah. Well, the Kansas City Scouts became the Devils.
I know.
So they went to a
I'm just
finals.
checking you, boys.
Yeah. So here they are. I'm going to give it to you. I don't want to break your horns on it. So the Winnipeg Jets of 1979 became the Phoenix Coyotes in 1996. And then they became the Arizona Coyotes. You know, I didn't know that.
The Arizona Coyotes?
I thought they were still the Phoenix Coyotes.
Okay.
They're now the Arizona, but then that's what the Arizona Coyotes.
Bottom line is no one cares about that.
Right. The Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And the Minnesota Wild. By the way, you know what my son used to call the Winnipeg Jets?
What?
The loser pig,
Remember the 1994 Sega hockey game? Well, you wouldn't know. The 1994 Sega hockey game was the greatest hockey game, video game ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he always used to call them loser peg.
Yeah.
I like that.
Big news in Boston last night. Tom Brady runs a Best Buddies event, and he made a deal with Best Buddies that they were going to pay him like $4 million to do it. And he goes, I don't want your money. Just send it to, I'll give you a list of charities and just spread it out among the charities. The Boston Globe gets a hold of this, and they run with it like, oh, well, why are people paying Best Buddies to support Brady's charities? Meanwhile, Best Buddy was raising about $1 million a year. Brady comes on board, they're raising like $35 million a year now. So the Boston Globe's breaking his chops. They're doing special articles, you know.
Well, you know why, don't you?
Why? Because they're jealous. They hate him.
No, you know why?
Because John Henry
if you're
owns the
listening,
book.
I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Because he said he was a Trump supporter, that's why. Anybody that supports Donald Trump the media hates for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
So last night he had his big touch football game at Harvard Stadium, and the Boston Globe photographer goes to show up. They said, "Sorry, see you later. Those credentials don't work here."
By the way, it's the end.
Really?
It's the end of his career. By the way, this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady, because he's on
Oh,
the
yeah.
cover of the Madden video game this year.
The curse. Yeah, the curse.
See what he did? See what he did with that?
What?
He took some pictures. He broke mirrors. He says, "I'm not afraid of it."
Good for him. Good for him.
All righty, Pete. So, what are we looking at here? You don't think they're going to sweep?
No,
I made a prediction. Here's my prediction. If Nashville wins this game tonight, they don't lose again.
That's that's not out of whack, but
We'll be
I don't
checking
see
his
that.
urine right after the show. Okay?
yeah.
And I'm saying Pittsburgh at 5 is what I'm saying.
All right, Pete, what do you think? Is Pittsburgh going to just... I mean, I think if they get one of two, you think they close it out in Game 5?
You know what? Look where we are now. We're right back where we were last year, because last year they could have closed it out in Game 5 in Pittsburgh, and they didn't. And then they went out to Anaheim and beat them in Game 6. So, nothing's easy here.
Yeah. Well, if anything, I'd like to see the Stanley Cup get awarded at the home team for once. I can't remember the last time that happened, maybe a year or two ago, but I'd like to get the home team win the Stanley Cup. We were talking about, I know, we're running out of time, right? We were talking about how many, I'd like to know what the record is for teams that have a chance to win the Cup in the game that they have a chance to win, not counting Game 7s. But when they have a chance to win the Cup in Game 4, 5, or 6, I'd like to know what their records is. We're going to try and look that up. Because I think that once you have it, it's in the building and it's waiting for you. That's it.
It's the toughest game, though, to win is the fourth game. It always is.
You know what happens when they know the Cup's in the building and they're ready to go?
What?
Certain players' asses get tight, if you know what I mean.
Well, that could be, too.
Yeah.
All righty, man, we're out of time.
Good talking to you, Pete.
Guys.
All right.
A pleasure.
All right, thanks, Pete. That's our good pal,
Pete Torgerson.
We are out of time, Craig.
We are.
We're probably out of time. So thanks to our producers, Anthony Bizzallo and Bonnie Schultz, for making all their hard work and making us look so good out here. Thanks again, Rich Kutzler, for sharing his story with us today. And, of course, thanks to Mark Hogan and Pete Torgerson for helping us out on the program with the Stanley Cup coverage. Maybe by next week, we'll have a Stanley Cup champion. Who knows? Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, putting up with this nonsense week after week and for allowing us to bring you this type of quality programming. And, of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, you can check out the Glory Days on-demand page at www.inravio.com to watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the Inravio TV network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Go Nashville.
Go Penguins.
Inravio.com.